So we're going to take a break now from working on the actual mini body and focus in on the steering wheel. This is the steering wheel that came with the Mini. It was a Motor Leader sports wheel. Not really in the best of conditions right now. Motor Leader, thanks to all the guys on the Oz Mini website that advise that if it's on the lower arm, it represents a Motor Leader wheel from the 1960s, whereas from 1970s onwards, the symbol was up on the upper arm on the side. And also, apparently, this is a Motor Leader that was licensed by Leyland to be manufactured. So possibly this is the Motor Leader sports wheel that was an option when you could buy a GT. We're going to put this to the side for now. We may try to restore this, sacrifice another wheel to restore the foam, and then put all new leather on it. What came with the car was this Mountie. So I think this is just a stock sports steering wheel, brand new, never been used. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, it's not a bad wheel, just standard. However, the boss that I've got with the car doesn't have the right hole pattern for this type of wheel. Let's take this off. Yeah, so this is the wrong boss. It doesn't have the right hole pattern. I think it worked with the Motor Leader. Let's have a look. Yeah. So this is a Motor Leader boss. So I need to find a new boss for this particular wheel. Oh, I may just sell this anyway, because what we're going to work on is restoring one of these instead. So this is an original Leyland wheel. This one says Leyland Australia. So this came when British Leyland ceased to be in operation. So I think this is 1972 onwards. I'm supposed to have one that says British Leyland in here. Hard to find. However, this one had a good rubber centerpiece with the pins. It's in really good condition. If anything, it may be slightly warped, but it slides in ever so nicely. We've still got a little bit of silver here, a little bit of a chip. And yeah, there's some cracks. There's a lot of cracks actually. So if we turn this around, got a major crack here. Down here as well. Some little bits of chipped paint. Just here. Where else? Yeah, some significant cracks all along here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Dremel with my deburring tool, grind all this out, try to remove as many cracks as possible, and then we're going to fill it. I'll probably use Fast Weld or something similar. There is a special chemical, special adhesive compound you can get to fill these cracks, like specifically for steering wheels. Yeah, but I think I'll just try to use the Fast Weld. So we'll see how we go. It may not turn out. A lot of sharp edges here, so I think we're going to have to do a heavy amount of grinding out, because we need to restore this wheel. But it'll be good to put this on there. It's a heck of a lot larger diameter. Yeah, anyway, we'll get started. I'll get the drill ready and we'll grind a lot of these cracks away and see where we end up. So I'll just start by marking all the cracks that we need to focus on. And there's plenty in here. Some significant cracks around here. This is all going to probably just flake right off. We're just going to be getting rid of the sharp crack and just grinding it to be a little bit more blended out. I'm hoping that by doing so, pieces may actually just bust off, which is even better. We'll be rebuilding the thickness anyway with the Fast Weld. So we'll go ahead, use this drill bit on the end of the Dremel. I use this a lot for all sorts of application, and we'll give it a go. We'll try to smooth out a lot of those cracks now. Well, this is very easy to grind out. I don't know if it's a good thing to go all the way back to the metal in the depth, but I have. Some of this just wants to snap right off though. But I'm making a really nice deep channel and trying to smooth out just the edge so we can get a good surface there for the fast weld to bite into and anchor down. Alright, so we had a piece that actually did break off and it was well rusted in here, so I've grinded all the rust off just with another bit for the Dremel, and then I've smoothed all this out, grinded this a bit. I want to glue it actually back in because it maintains the right grip pattern. I don't want to try to replicate that with just a heap of fast weld, so I'm going to glue that in place. I'll just use Araldite. I'll coat this completely in Araldite and then this surface and bond that down, and then we'll continue on with grinding it and just preparing it for filling in the gaps. Alright, just resuming, we've spent a bit of time sanding this down. There's a lot of paint chips out of it, so I've been just sanding it back. There's a layer of primer there, getting a lot of it out and just sanding around where we're going to do the repairs. So what we're going to do now, we'll mix up some fast weld, or actually I'm using JB weld, so I've got the JB weld here. I just call it fast weld. We'll mix that up. We'll start to fill it into these cracks, and then I'll apply a little bit of masking tape around it just so it stays within the crack and doesn't run away. We'll do probably this one, and this one up here, and we'll wrap tape around that to try to keep it kept in there. I had to also glue this piece back in, and it's firm in there, it's not coming back out. I did use Araldite. It doesn't even look like it came out, but it certainly did, and it just keeps the profile there, so that's nice. That'll get filled up with JB weld as well. And of course, when we've finished all of this and we sand it, I'll probably apply an epoxy primer on top of this, and that's going to be a nightmare to sand. But I'll try to sand it as best as possible first, and then get all the shiny paint off, sand it back as best as possible, probably sand it with 1500 grit as well, and then we'll do the epoxy primer, a couple of coats, and hopefully we get a nice smooth surface. Otherwise we'll just try to sand that. We'll have to buy a lot of sandpaper and smooth that down. And I've got some 2-pack satin black paint, which is what I'll use for this, and then I'm thinking of even clear coating that. So we'll get ahead anyway. We'll start with the JB weld, fill these up, see how we go. Just so you know, I did actually clean this with some isopropyl alcohol So the surfaces are all clean. So we've applied the fast weld, or the JB weld. It's not the easiest to apply on. Where you want to actually apply it, it seems to want to go everywhere else. So it's a little bit of a messy job. There's going to be a lot of nasty sanding involved here. And this stuff doesn't sand that great. The substrate will sand a lot easier than the JB weld, so I've got to be careful here and try not to take too much off the steering wheel itself. But once this sets, we'll leave this now for a day. We'll get to sanding it and then we'll reapply whatever areas that are unaddressed. Also noticed there was a little crack down here, a faint little crack, so I've just applied a little bit into a crack down there, so we'll sand that. I should say that I try to start on the peaks first and bring the peaks down, and then when they're down enough I tend to start on the edge and slowly feather it from the outside in to try to keep the uniform shape. We're back today. We're going to finish off the steering wheel. I've had to do some sanding again, a little bit more filling and sanding to smooth out the arm here, and as well here. Just didn't have it good to finish with the first coat of paint. As well on the back side of the steering wheel, it was the paint got missed. So we're going to rub this back with a bit of red Scotch-Brite, and I'll put some coats of the satin black back on, and we'll finish it off with some clear coats. Alright, and we're done. We've just done a couple of layers of a base coat, satin black, and then I've just sprayed it with 3 pretty solid coats of clear. So it was wet and wet. A little bit of orange peel effect, but a nice solid coating to give it the protection. The internal part here is supposed to be silver, so we'll paint that another day. Just got to get a can of enamel silver. And that will match the outer rim of the little insert that goes in the middle there. But yeah, the steering wheel is done, so next stage will just be after you let it dry, I'll put it in the car and I'll show you the finished product. Alright, so it's been a couple of months. We've finally finished the steering wheel and I've just temporarily installed it, but yeah, have a look at the result. We got rid of all those cracks. We drilled right through to the frame, filled them, faired it, sanded, painted, reapplied some more filler to get rid of some imperfections around here and up here, and yeah, really happy with the result. Couple more base coats of satin black, and then 3 coats of clear coat to give it its longevity and hope it lasts. But really happy with the result. We've got the centerpiece. We've put a little bit of the silver highlight just around the edge as it was. The only difference being that this says Leyland Australia, which came out after 71, and we need to find a little badge in here that will say British Leyland, which matches the badges on the sides at the A-pillars. So anyway, that's the steering wheel. That was a big piece of the puzzle done. Really happy with it. Happy I didn't go with a sports steering wheel and went back to the original. So we're going to move over to here next. Still working on the interior, but I'll just show you what we've made up here. I had to go and consult some people on the forums to understand what covered up this hole here, and a guy I met on Facebook, who's also on the Aussie Mini forums over in New Zealand, has been kind enough to share the design with me, and he made the shape for me. This is the final shape, so he gave me the pattern. I've got the pattern, it slides in there relatively easy. That goes in there, pop that down. There we go, and then slide it back. There we go, so that's in. This gets covered with material called Hardura. And I've got that. I've just got to cut it to size. It'll go there and cover up here. And yeah, that'll be the next phase. But we've made this template now. Happy with that. We've got to bond that to the Hardura and we'll install it a bit later. It's not important right now. But that's it, guys. Hope you like that episode. Steering wheel is now complete and we can progress on with the car. Catch you later.